Well, little friend, it's time for another show. We have over 200 of these now. Over 200 Do Not Talk shows. The show where we do talk about the two things you're never supposed to talk about, religion and politics. That's why it's called Do Not Talk. We got merchandise. Even my dog Spike has one. It's a 15-ounce mug. It's big. And I like big mugs. And I cannot lie. And them other brothers can't deny. And you can get this and that shirt, which says God Family Country on the back, and that logo is on the left front chest. You'd be helping this show stay on the air, and I sure do appreciate it. Shawn Steel is our guest today. Shawn Steel is executive committee member with the California GOP. Now, I was at that convention. I've been at both, the one in the spring and the one in the fall. The last one is where I met Shawn. What a character, what a kick, just super brain, super energy. He's like the same age as Donald Trump, maybe a year younger. I think he's 77 years young. His energy is incredible. And I'm telling you what, man, he's a whirlwind. He's a tornado. You're going to enjoy meeting Shawn Steel, and I'm looking forward to introducing you to him. He is... excuse me, little friend. He is like a dad, a good dad, a great dad, as a matter of fact. A dad that everybody would be, oh, you got to meet my dad. Oh, everybody likes my dad. The kind of dad that actually will be real honest with you, real upfront, and say, here's how it is. But then he'll give you a smile and go, and you know what? I hope you make the right decision. That kind of dad. That's Shawn Steel. Kind of dad that America needs. America desperately needs more dads. Not guys, not dudes, not boys, dads. Even if you don't have any kids, just the attitude of, yeah, I've learned a few things and I'm going to share it with you. Like this dude right here encountering a protester who is well, watch this.
Sir, hey, you're assaulting. That's assault there, buddy. If we did that to somebody, I know you'd be crying about it, right? Because you're called a hypocrite. You don't know how to be a man. You don't have any children, do you? You can't even take care of yourself, much less a child. You have no responsibility, no sense of virtue, no sense of masculinity. You've been emasculated. You don't know how to protect women. You don't know how to protect children. No, you don't. If we wanted to do something to this abortion clinic, you wouldn't stop us. We are restraining ourselves because we're law-abiding people. You guys are not restraining us in the least bit of way. You're not protecting this clinic, okay? You're a coward. You couldn't protect your way out of a paper bag. If we wanted to toss you down the hill, we'd toss you down the hill, and you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. It's the fact that we are self-disciplined men who actually restrain ourselves and abide by the law is the reason that you haven't gotten hurt today, because you're not a man. You're a coward. You're a little boy that has not grown up. You've been raised in a self-centered, materialistic, consumer-driven culture. All you know how to do is consume. You don't know how to take care of anybody. You don't know how to produce or build anything of value and substance.
Did that seem mean to you when you watched that? Was like, oh, he's really being harsh. Well, that's too much. He shouldn't be saying anything to that poor boy who's out there trying to act like he's some kind of badass, standing in front of the way of people who are trying to do work because he's protesting whatever, fill in the blank. I don't even know what it was. And that's harsh to you. You're thinking that that's too much. That's over the line. No, we need more men like that who will speak up and talk to boys like that and teach them how to become men. That's really, I get this, I get in this conversation a lot with women when they're talking about how terrible men are, and men are, because I attend this Christian singles thing called Bridges, and there's a lot of bitter women there. So they'll go on and on about men are all the problem. Men have done everything wrong, and men have made this world a terrible place. And they're always surprised when I go, "You're right. You're right. Men are not taking responsibility. They're certainly not acting like men. They're letting the media tell them what a man is supposed to be like, which is sitting on the couch with his buddies watching football and just telling the woman, I don't know, you handle it. I'm busy. You're right. It is men's fault. A lot of what's happened, especially with the United States of America, that was founded by men. You're right. It is the men. Then I meet somebody like Shawn Steel, and I get really encouraged, especially for the Republican Party in California. We're going to hammer out all the problems of the world coming up next here on Do Not Talk. Spike, I'm going to need your assistance here because it's time to do that cue where we hit the intro and everything. And when I say hit it, and I act like I'm punching the camera. So you ready? Hit it.
Yep, here he comes. Riding his trusted steed through the Sierra foothills as he brings you the news. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! He calls himself
Charlie!
What you doing, Charlie?
Sorry, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. There you are. Look how cute you are. Yeah!
Hey, Charlie. What's with the dark glasses?
And now, here he is, a man of God, living in a world of Disney.
Ow! Charlie!
Charlie Simons.
Charlie bit me.
Before I introduce you to my big guest today, this tomahawk's not coming out to threaten my big guest. It's coming out to remind you that I want you to join me in firing the big corporations. I only buy American now. It is so fun not having to rely on big frickin' corporate box stores like I used to have to do for even the simplest of things. I don't go in them anymore, especially after that whole COVID shutdown thing. It always bothered me. How come the big, stupid, bloated corporate stores are considered essential, but the family run in generations, many of them handed down these businesses, were not deemed essential and were ruined and destroyed? Forget it. I'm fighting back by not going into stores that make a smaller profit, but a whole lot more of it, because more of us are forced to go in there to buy products made in China. Insane. Why are you doing it? Well, I saved money on getting this at Walmart. At what cost? What did it do to your soul, for heaven's sake? Go to tomahawkswitch.com/Charlie. There's the tomahawk right there. tomahawkswitch.com/Charlie. Fire the big corporations. Over 400 products, all made in the United States of America and naturally derived. They're big on that, like I am too. I don't want a bunch of chemicals in my body and my mind and my soul and my heart anymore. Go natural, go American. tomahawkswitch.com/Charlie. I'm just a good old boy. I'm going to bring him right in and explain how I met him and why I wanted to have him on the show. His name, ladies and gentlemen, for your dining and dancing pleasure, Shawn Steel. Howdy.
Howdy. Wow. I just have to figure out how to spell tomahawk correctly, but I wrote it down. That's fantastic.
That is a problem. I've had to tell people how to spell tomahawk before. That's funny. You're right. But I'm just a good old boy. I grew up in Bakersfield. I have had a lifetime of learning. Didn't have a big college education. Didn't jump through all those hoops. And went the way of media. I've been in radio and television my entire adult life, and love it. It was perfect for me. It was just a perfect fit, and I've done well. I've had highs and lows and ups and downs, just like everybody. But now at this point in my life, my friend, I decided quite a while ago I needed to get into what everybody kept telling me I should have gone into because I'm so politically active: talk radio. So I get into talk, and it's a whole new world of people firing things at you. I was used to, when you're a DJ and you're the funny morning guy, everybody loves you. You might say one thing every now and then that offends somebody, but that's actually the whole point. You were always pushing the envelope. Then I got into talk radio, and I don't think I like this. For one thing, you have to be angry all the time. I don't like being angry all the time.
It's a lot of work.
So I went to my very first, and this is thanks to my friend Rudy Rosselli, who's running against that piece of trash, John Garamendi in Northern California in the Bay Area. He asked me to be one of his delegates. He goes, Charlie, because I can trust you. I know I don't have to worry about how you're going to vote. I know your heart. because you're real quick to tell everybody what you think. So I went to my very first convention in Sacramento, the GOP I'm talking about. And son, I don't think I like it. I saw how the sausage was made. I don't think I liked it.
How'd it taste, though?
When you win, the sausage tastes great. It's just loaded with MSG is the problem. But we have not won in a long time here in California. So then I went to my second convention was Los Angeles, Anaheim. And I see this guy running around everywhere. And he's loud and he's in control. And he just seems like a blast to talk to. He's funny as heck. And I thought, I got to meet this guy. Not knowing that you're like head of the mucky mucks in the California Republican Party, Shawn Steel, very accomplished attorney and law firm, Eisner, right?
Right.
Eisner.
Eisner's a junior kid, few decades younger. Steel is the guy that founded the firm. That's me.
Mm.
So yeah, I did get a partner. It's hard getting a partner in life. Somebody you trust.
Amen.
Turn your back and not get stabbed. Somebody that believes in your core philosophy.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes into everything I think we're talking about. I met him and he was 30 and he was married. Well, whoa, right there. Politically, he was walking precincts for Pat Bates, who was a conservative Republican senator when he was 8 years old. I said, well, that's an upstat. That's good. He wrote articles when he was in the Orange County Register when he was in high school. Write center articles. I mean, what kid does that?
I don't know. You're right. Yeah. That's an extraordinary kid.
Now he's got 2 children, a good family. He's devoted. Loves his country, and also he's a millennial who shows up on time. Holy cow! You get something like that. This is like a science experiment. Let's check this out. So
hang on to that like grim death.
Of course, he's my partner, and I'm proud to have him.
That's good. Very
but
good.
This kind of ties into our philosophy, what's going on in California, and hanging out with the right kind of people will make your life better.
I was hearing somebody the stat the other day that it seems like politicians, for the most part, on both sides of the aisle, once they get into office, they seem to accomplish or follow through on about 20% of what they said they were going to do, or how they represented themselves. Only about 20% of it is true. Those are dismal numbers, and we're going to keep getting what we keep getting until we have good people running for office. And since I've started this show here over a year and a half now, I'm big, and I don't charge them anything. I'm big on introducing everybody to these people, good people, I think, running for office, who are getting no media attention and really no help. And those are the people I've really been focusing on, saying, let's get you on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what's different. What kind of chance do they have in the Republican Party of working their way up to where they could actually be holding an office or taking, if you get the Republican Party behind you, actually taking down slugs like John Garamendi?
This is my wheelhouse. You are talking my language. I think about your question throughout the day for most of my life. How do we change America and secure America for the better? So forgive me, because I got a lot on my mind when you're raising these questions. Once, let's realize that we live in California, which is the belly of the beast. This is where bad things happen.
Truly.
And we can go through great analysis. Why are we here? What happened? Well, let's just deal with core facts. 5 million people have fled California in the last 30 years. 2/3 of them are Republican conservatives. How do I know that? I know that because Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, a great governor, fighting to defend the border, fighting bad teachers and unions. I mean, he's an ideal governor. I met with him, but he also talked to the RNC, and he says, every time I meet a Californian in Texas, I want to hug him. Why is that? Well, because 2/3 of Californians that moved to Texas voted for him in the exit polls. So he knows they're mostly economic and freedom fighters that have just given up. And many of them are young families that can't afford the home they were born in California. Now think about
Right.
that.
Oh,
Our
yeah.
own children can't afford to buy the homes that they were raised in, and the jobs aren't that good. A lot of hamburger jobs, and those are disappearing because of the spectacular raise in minimum wage. But yeah, if you work in Silicon Valley, you're going to make $250,000 a year when you get out of college. That's a very small sample. We could have 500,000 young people without college education working in the oil industry. We have one of the greatest oil deposits on planet Earth in California.
Yep.
We haven't been able to explore that for 30, 40 years. Now that dries up. It dries up job opportunities across the board, and that's why we're losing population. So it's mostly economic, but it's also the schools, the crime. You call them homeless, I call them zombies. These are walking, dangerous human beings that need help, and they need to be put in the Sierra foothills. In a nice area with big fences, with good medicine and food.
Don't send them to the Sierra foothills. That's where I live.
Okay, the Mojave, nice. The
Mojave. There you go.
Next to a mountain, where it's fresh air. But very hard.
Flowing, stagnant water.
Yeah.
Cool, clear water.
So that's the macro. So we're insurgents now. And so we are slowly bringing back territory that belonged to us in Congress. My wife is in a district where it voted for Biden by 7% in 2020. It's hostile. It could be it's Democrat heavy, but she won. She won in 2020. She won in 2022. She's going to work hard. We're going to win again. And so we need a new formulation, and we discovered a whole lot of opportunities despite our declining core Republicans leaving for Florida, West Virginia, the Carolinas, Tennessee. We've all got friends. There's no exceptions. Friends and family are fleeing California. And you can only do that to a certain extent and still be a viable party. So that's the macro. Now, give me another minute here and I'll go micro. So what do? We can support a great American that's a good person running for Congress in a 30% Democrat seat.
But you don't know who
9,999 times out of 1,000, it won't work.
Yeah.
Because of the numbers, you got a lot of welfare people, that government dependents, teacher union. And so it's a glorious cause, but they become martyrs. And the sad thing is nobody even hears about it because it just nobody pays attention to it. Mm-hmm. So I don't like those kinds of situations. I'm a pragmatist. I want to win. I want an army that doesn't keep losing and losing and losing. So what I'm committed to is having our troops in the field, our people, our mama bears, the new awakening that's taking place in California. Let's look at the local offices where it's a low turnout, and especially on school boards. Now, give me one more minute, and then lawyers will talk.
Please go, brother.
1,000 school districts in California. 1,000 under the Constitution. Each one of those trustees, that's what they're called, has to run for election every 4 years. And the way it works, 2,500 of them stand for election every 2 years. 2,500 opportunities, and many of them are small, approachable. You can walk them. You could knock on the doors and meet your neighbors. Most conservatives do not know who the good person is running for school board. Our job as a party is to help get the message, not to the liberals, not to the Democrats, not to the bums and the zombies. Get it to our base. That's where the party can be useful. Trying to go after a big fancy Democrat who's got a lot of money, I would rather have those candidates run for a local school board where they got a 50-50 chance of winning. And so that's what I'm dedicated to.
I think a lot of people during the whole COVID shutdown got inspired because they hated what they were seeing, and the attitude kicked in that if not me, who? If not now, when? I got to do something because this cannot continue. And so you're right. And having never held any kind of office, they jump right into Senate races. They
Damn
jump
right.
right into congressional races. I know. One never held anything, ran for Secretary of State. I love her. I think she's fantastic. Would have done a great job at it. But what are the odds? And you're up against a complicit media that is never going to put any kind of focus attention of, especially in a positive light, on you. Never. So what kind of bankroll do you have behind you?
You are media, and that's what I like about these shows. You're here to inform. You got a listenership, you got a viewership. I'm a strong advocate of conservative media, underground media. This is something that's absolutely crucial. And that's why I want to redirect our energy. So too many of us go for the shiny penny on the ground.
Right.
Let's think in terms of the IDF. Let's take in terms of successful armies. Ulysses S. Grant. You don't go with your best troops in the front of the fort where they got cannons. You know, you don't charge up the hill unless you want your men killed. No,
Right.
you find ways of surrounding, finding the weak point, flanking movements, patience, strategy. And that's where I'm at. I'm into a serious statewide strategy of how we claw back our city councils, how we claw back our school boards. And that's only the beginning. We got a big recall in Orange County. We flipped a big school district with maybe
Good.
in Orange Unified. And I tell you, we're having a meeting next Monday because the unions announced 300,000. They're going to go and recall 2 of our key members and flip it. That's big money. We don't have 300,000. You don't have it. I don't have it. The guy down the street on our side doesn't have it. However, we have grassroots activists, parents, and dedicated people, and a pretty decent county party, which I'm happy to say. I didn't always say that. So we're meeting at 7 a.m. next Monday. We're serious.
I guess you are if you're meeting at 7 a.m.
Yeah, damn right. And we're going to have the 2 school board members there. We're going to have the county party there. We're going to have some Lincoln Club. It's a unity deal because if we lose this school district, you think, what difference does it make if we capture more school districts in California if the union's going to come back with a recall? By the way, they got the signatures, which is a huge job, 2.5 weeks. They just paying big dollars, going door to door, getting signatures from union members in the Orange area. Now we got a better population there, and we're going to go and knock on their doors. We're going to out hustle them. But that's the point. When you start getting the win, then the real work starts. So first, I need everybody considering this. You live in 3 school districts. If you live in California, you live in 3 school districts. I don't know if you know your school districts, but you got a local high school district, very powerful, a lot of money. You could run. I'd support you, and I'm serious. Number 2, community college. Oh, boy, is that a bonanza. Billions of dollars with left-wing professors.
And we never think about that. You're
And
absolutely
the third
right.
one is
I know a
education.
hardcore conservative, just real quickly. I know a hardcore conservative in the Bay Area who got on one of those college boards. And the whole reason why she won is because no one else was running for it.
That's
On the
right.
left or right.
That's right.
No
That's
one else
right.
was running for it. And she's
Those
like,
are-
I am making things happen. If nothing else, I'm blocking a lot of this insanity that they're trying to push through.
We have this young Hispanic woman in Santa Barbara, the only conservative of 7 members of the Santa Barbara Community College. They are attacking her. They took her off all the committees. Big deal. They have censored her. And she's not saying anything outrageous. She's just a young conservative Hispanic woman.
How dare
And I say, bring it on. If you guys want to look like thugs, that the way you are, you want to act like school board terrorists, go ahead. This is our hero. This is our moment in Santa Barbara. That's a liberal county. I mean, and yet we have a beachhead there. And the good news is, she's 1 out of 7 votes, but she forces transparency. She's talking about the issues. She's talking about left-wing professors that are lazy, don't teach, but indoctrinate.
Right.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they make more money. I discovered this in Orange County. These professors who work 12 hours a week, 15 hours a week, they make more money than the parents of the students they teach.
Oh yeah.
How shameful is that?
Six-figure incomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the third thing? I interrupted you. You said the high school, the
The
community
County
college,
Board of Ed. The
County Board of Education.
Now, what's nice about the county board, we have 58 counties, 57 of them, you elect your county board. The county board is the one that determines whether parents get a charter school or not. You won't get charter schools in San Francisco or Oakland or San Jose, but you're getting a whole bunch in Orange County. Now, the beauty of a charter school, parents are deeply involved. The union has no power because it's a non-union environment. And every time a high school switches from a public school to a charter school, the union loses 100 dues-paying members. That's how you attack. That's
awesome. I did not know that. This
Yeah.
is all very, very good information. What happens when we get our next big, huge COVID shutdown and Emergency Powers Act kicks in and Governor Hairdo changes that loophole and cancels all charter schools because it's an emergency, you know? What happens then? Because that's what California does. Look what they've done to school boards just recently, literally telling school boards, no, you cannot object to that book being in a kid's library.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How are they doing this? How are they getting away with this?
We're in the middle of a huge legal snowstorm right now. You could call it something else, but we're on the media. Harmeet Dillon is my counterpart in the Republican National Committee. She is
I love
the RNC committee woman. She is fearless. She's tough.
I love
She
her.
has won 3 U.S. Supreme Court cases in 1 year for religious freedom on COVID. She's got an entire universe of lawyers that are working on this and defending school boards. And here's something you mentioned. What do we do? Legally, there's a lot of new law against these shutdowns across America. You know, veils lifted, the emergency, which frankly hurt more people than it helped. If you're really sick, stay at home, please. And if you're sick, I don't know why you're in public, but go ahead and wear your mask. But that's it. It's an individual situation. And so they did a lot of damage to an entire generation of kids. We know that. Even liberals admit that hurt a lot of kids, but it opens the doors to private schools, charter schools, homeschooling, which I love. So we've learned from that. You're right. I agree with you. It's going to happen again. There'll be some pandemic from China, likely another biological warfare method that's pretty well documented. Even the greatest doubters. Now, what do we do? Well, the more school districts we capture, here's a little trick, a pro tip. The first thing you do when you take over a school district, first thing, what do you think? You give me your best guess. What do you think a school board ought to do on the very first day?
Take a break and shut down public comment and not let them say anything and go into the back room and have your secret meeting? Oh, I'm sorry. No.
That's a bad idea.
I'm sorry. That's what they've been doing. I'm sorry. That's
Okay, I'll tell you. The first thing you do is fire the lawyer.
Is what?
Fire the lawyer.
Fire the lawyer.
School district. He is poisonous. She is toxic. She's part of the union infrastructure. They're lazy. They charge $200,000, $300,000 a year in a small school district to lie to the school board members. Oh, if you do this, you'll be sued. Oh, if you do that, it's unconstitutional. Oh, if you require teachers to teach, you're going to get in big trouble. So the lawyers lie. And so the first thing you do, very nicely, very professionally, we thank you for your service, but we're voting to end your contract today. And luckily, over here, we have this other lawyer that's going to take over. And Harmeet and I and many conservative lawyers, a whole bunch of us in California, we'll get you the specialist. I don't do that kind of work, but you need school board lawyer specialists that are on the side of the parents.
Oh,
Now that is
John, how
then,
come you're the first time I've ever heard anybody say this? It's absolutely brilliant. I don't think these school boards know that. I don't think the county GOP, I don't think the central committees know this. Because I haven't heard anybody say this before.
I've spoken to 13 county central committees about this, and this is part of the pitch. You got a PowerPoint. I'll go anywhere if you invite me. I mean, anywhere. Nobody invites you to the gold country. I don't know why. I'm sorry I said that about sending the zombies up to the to the gold country, but yeah, it's too nice of an area. I'm thinking Mojave, in the southern part of the Sierras is probably.
That's so funny you call them zombies because I do too. And many of them, of course, they've gone through some tough times, but we all have choices.
They need help. They need asylum.
We all have choices in life. You're now choosing to live on the street and to sponge and soak off of everyone else because the world owes you a living, because you want to keep doing your drugs. You want to keep drinking your booze. You keep wanting to live the way you want to live, you rebel. Well, no, there's vagrancy laws. No, there's laws against harassing people. No, there's laws against theft. None of these laws are being seem to be followed through on. And actually utilized. The state of California is in the pit, Shawn Steel. I've never seen it. Things are happening in my own state I never thought I'd see in my entire lifetime. Now, how much of that is, I'm going to get real honest with you here. How much of that is the Republican Party compromising?
It's not even a matter of compromising. You know, you go into a stadium and you got 100,000 people watching you, and they give you a penknife, and then they set 10 lions, hungry lions at you. There's no compromising. You're dead. You're just, I tell you, I feel sorry for Republicans who go to Sacramento in the Assembly and the Senate. They're not compromisers. They have such little power. They're lucky to get a parking spot inside the building. Now, you think I'm kind of exaggerating. There was a time when lobbyists, here's the true test of Republican power in Sacramento. When a lobbyist would come up to you, hey, buddy, nice, welcome to Sacramento. We need to work together. I represent the big corporations here, and let's have lunch. You know what? They won't even take Republicans out to lunch anymore.
Yeah, you can't do anything for them.
Are effectively useless. Nobody cares about them in Sacramento. Here's the worst insult you can get. You're ignored. And it's not that, you know, Republicans do anything wrong. They just don't have a voice. And so, of course, we were very active. We flipped a seat in Orange County. We got this great anti-communist Vietnamese American martial arts guy, Tree Taw. He's now representing Westminster. He's good. He's fearless. But I've also discovered something else that'll go along with your agenda. A lot of times, Republicans are feeling really good with themselves, and they get elected. And something happens. They drink the water. I've seen it tons of times.
Bring it.
Number one, they think they are going to make a difference by themselves by cutting deals. They're really practical. And it's sad. It's very rare that I've seen that work out well. Secondly, they think they're really important, you know, that they got people elected them, and, you know, they got a seat in the chamber, and they got their name. Somebody put their name on a nice plaque in front of their desk, and they got a staff. They've never managed a staff in their life because many of them have never run a business. And people are laughing at their jokes. So there is some kind of a
that's power right there.
It's a delusional kind of thinking without understanding what it means to be in office.
And if I may, Shawn, you got to dance with the one that brought you. How many of these people actually attain office, and then you guys who work so hard to get them in that position, you never hear anything from them? I'd be on the phone with, Shawn Steel. Absolutely. Shawn, here's what's going on. You've lived this life for heaven's sake. You started with Barry Goldwater. That's why I know you're a hardcore conservative, brother. What shall I do? What do you think? What's your suggestion? Dance with the one who brought you. They ignore you, don't they, when they get up to that point?
It's some do, some don't. It's a variation. Look, it's very, these species called human beings are so flawed. Even
Amen.
conservatives, and it's just different things. But I've seen people lose their minds and do amazing things when they're. I guess Sacramento's even worse than Washington. At least in Washington, they spend a little less. I don't know, but I don't know. I just seen too many transformations. What I would have bet. I did bet almost by bottom dollar. This guy's going to be great. Next thing I know, he's dancing with the enemy, and he thinks he's making a difference, and he made bad votes, and I was just horrified. But we have some heroes. Billy Asali, try to get him on your show, or get him on your show. Billy Asali, well, okay. I knew him as Billy. It's now Bill Asali. He's an assemblyman in Riverside County. He is fearless. He's working with me on the school parent movement. He's very outspoken, and he's very unhappy living in Sacramento part-time. Now hear that clearly. He knows the game. He knows it's rigged. He knows the Democrats run this statewide, and he's looking at a strategic alternative to just being a patsy, just being, not involved. So he's young, he's articulate, and he's fearless. That's the future of people that are going to make a real change in California.
I've been to 2 Republican conventions now, Sacramento and Anaheim, this past year. And I never saw any, there may have been some, I just didn't see them, any consortium of people getting together and talking about, here's how we fight voter fraud. Here's how we fight election fraud. Because until that is addressed by our own people who are in office, and it's radio silence, even from great people I love, like Shannon Grove, love her. We've got some great people in there. I wish there were more Jim Jordans and Ted Cruz's and Marjorie Taylor Greens. I truly wish there were. But
Shannon Groves is spectacular.
Isn't she awesome? Love her.
Listen, you work with me, and I'll direct you to. There was 2 separate organizational meetings on voter fraud at the last convention. Okay. Harmeet Dillon was running one of them. Now, the trouble is, we offer a whole bunch of different things to go to, and you may not have noticed it because you're not sure about the wording on the program. But if you missed the Shawn Steel cigar party,
I was there,
then you really didn't go to the convention at all. But you went.
I was there. Yep.
We had a guy
with protesters. Trying to get there, had an encounter with protesters on a video that went viral.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, surrounded by about 15 of them.
Yep. Yeah, but there were hundreds and hundreds of pro-Trump supporters out there, so we outgunned them.
We did.
Look, I'm guardedly optimistic because, my wife got elected. That's a pretty good deal. She just got a bill that's going through Congress that'll force every university in America, risking criminal penalties, to divulge how much money they're getting from communist China and from pro-Hamas Arabs.
Are you serious?
Now it's called a
That is fantastic.
Act. DETERRENT. National Review has a big spread on that today. I'll send you a copy now. It just hit but it's an act that there's a law, but there's no penalty. But the Chinese Communist Party and Qatar have put in professors and millions of dollars, and we don't know how much, and we don't know what for, because nobody gives money unless they get something on the back end. Right. So that's a big bill that is probably going to pass both houses because, the Democrats are worried that they're too anti-Semitic, and they really have a big problem. They got a lot of anti-American, anti-Semitic leadership now, deep in their party. And so this is another chance to switch things around for our side.
Shawn, you're fantastic. I knew I'd have a good time with you. I truly hope you've had a good time and you'll come on again. I do want to end with this though, because there's so many. I got a list of things I'm going to write down. I want to ask you, but they're going to have to wait.
Right.
But I will leave you with this. I was highly disappointed when Jessica Patterson, who's the chairwoman of the California Republican Party, California GOP, might be a great friend of yours. You might hang out and do barbecue. You might smoke brisket. I don't know what you do. So my apologies if this offends you. Not really apologies. I'm just giving heads up.
It's going to be hard to offend me.
I like you. I know that I know your background, so I know you're no rhino. But that board, and especially Jessica Patterson, unless I'm wrong, seems to be completely polluted. When they tried to change the charter of the California GOP by saying we need to be more inclusive, this whole thing about we only recognize marriage between a man and a woman, yeah, we need to lose that. This whole thing about our stance is pro-life, we're completely pro-life, yeah, we need to lose that. These are huge things that are the base of the Republican Party and what we stand for, and they tried to get rid of it. They tried to cut that charter down to almost half of what it currently is, and I was appalled. When I went down there, I was hot. I'm like, man, I want to get up when they're taking the vote that Sunday, but it happened the day before, so there was no input from little guys like me as to like, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Who spearheaded that? It seemed to be Jessica Patterson.
Okay, let's what happened afterwards though? Tell me, you went down, you were hot.
What happened?
What happened actually with the great majority of delegates? What actually happened?
Yes, sir.
What's the rest of the story?
It did not pass. By overwhelming majority, we shut that down.
Okay.
And that was a thank God, thank you, Lord moment. You've restored my confidence in my own party and my own fellow Republicans. And I do believe in Ronald Reagan's 11th Amendment. Thou shalt not criticize other Republicans. But when I hear people throwing rhino around a lot, and you don't blame them, because we see a lot of people who said, no, I'm all for this. And then when they get in that position, they're suddenly not all for that.
The platform committee put out something that most guys didn't like, including myself. Harmeet Dillon led the charge, and she was supposed to lose in the platform committee Saturday morning, but she got to the members of the platform committee and got them to switch based upon common sense and a huge mass movement. Then it was voted the next day on the floor of the convention, and the original platform was adopted. I don't remember anybody in the leadership. Harmeet and I are part of the leadership, or the committee man and committee woman. I don't remember anybody else saying, oh, this is a terrible thing. So I think those that supported that really got a strong message. And this party has principles that are eternal. And so you won, we won. So if there was a platform committee, and basically they were elected by delegates throughout the state, it wasn't just Jessica's friends. It was a whole bunch of folks, and there was enough of a cabal that they were able to. The argument, I don't want to get too deep into it. They wanted to make it smaller, more readable. But when you get into the fine print of even the smaller version, unacceptable. So you won, we won, and so that was a good outcome. Your time going down there turns out to be very worthwhile, particularly going to the cigar party.
Yes, that cigar party was a kick, man. That was the most successful event of the whole weekend. Well done on that. And you had a guy up there who's an impressionist, and he was dressed and talked the whole time. He never got out of character. He was Donald Trump. He was definitely a hit of the party. Well done. You are, I didn't even run down your bio because I just wanted to get right into it with you. But just real quick, you're part of the executive committee with the California Republican Party, but you've got a long, long history of right thinking and really working hard. And you and I hope to glean some of your energy. I hope to glean some of your positive energy, especially because, frankly, I've been demoralized and thinking, why are we doing this? Why are we even trying more than once? I've been getting discouraged, my friend.
I get discouraged. Well, it's easy to get discouraged because there's a lot of bad things. I'm shocked and amazed of the American campuses becoming so violently anti-American and anti-Jewish. I mean, we're
Weird.
talking serious Jew hatred.
Satanic is what it
and,
is.
and it doesn't surprise me. I remember what happened in the 60s, and we've been watching that process. And the American universities, many of them are garbage, and ethnic studies is disgustingly embarrassing and anti-intelligent. So yeah,
Intelligent.
you can easily get discouraged. But you know what? By being active and helping good people, like what you're doing right now, what you do with your broadcast, that's got to make you feel better. Or the alternative is to go to northern Idaho and just get off the grid and forge for yourself. And
I'm a little too stubborn for that. I like my state. I've been here all my life, and as far as I'm concerned, at one point when I tell people this, I remind them this was a very red state.
Yeah.
You can thank San Francisco and Hollywood basically for changing that. They've been very effective at ruling, controlling. Unions have had a huge part. The CTA, how many people actually realize the California Teachers Association is one of the, if not the largest unions in the nation?
it's also the most powerful and the smartest in California. There's a lot more members in the State Employees Association, SEIU. They're juniors compared to the California Teachers Association, an organization that's done more damage to children than any group of criminals you can find. They're very damaging to many generations of school children. Low outcomes, bad lifestyle choices, unable to get good, worthy jobs, no motivation. It's really a very serious social problem that the CTA has created in California.
Mr. Steel, I helped a lot of these people who we flip school boards up in my area too, up here in Northern California. And we flip school boards here too. And I want my friends who are currently really affecting change and having a positive impact on children. Mm-hmm. I want them to know what you said about firing those attorneys.
Yeah.
That is huge. I've never heard anyone
satisfying. Say that. Just it's so beautiful. The first order of business after you take quorum and have roll call and maybe read the last note saying, let's have a vote and we're going to get a new attorney here. And
they don't know. They just flat don't know.
Yeah.
I want to get you up here, and I want to get you. We got to make some things happen up here, buddy, because right now the whole party is so Southern California heavy. I think Southern California centric. And up here in Northern California, it's just like everybody's high all the time, I think. Is what it is.
Well, at least they don't vote, as far as I know. I mean, you're
vote.
Busy, looking for the dealer.
That's right. You were fantastic. I'm so glad I met you, man. I knew I'd like you the first time he was walking right towards me, and I went, there he is. I'm going to introduce myself. Stuck up my hand, told him who I was and what I did, and instead of just going, oh yeah, that's great, talk to my people, which is what I normally hear.
People. You're
yeah, that was not him. That was not this guy. So I mean, he's different, and you're affecting change, and I'm glad that you are where you are, and may God bless you and keep you.
Thank you.
Your wife and your practice. And thank you for being a part of our show here today. Shawn Steel, where do we find you if we want to get involved with what you're doing or find out more about you or your wife? How do we get involved?
It's easy. I can be reached, and I got an email. It's called ShawnSteellaw@gmail.com. Shawn is the American Irish spelling, SHAW, and Steel is in stainless. ShawnSteellaw, 2 L's.
In other words, no E at the end on Steel. Yeah. The American Irish spelling. I love that. SHAWN. You're right. And STEEL. No E on the end.
No E. Those are different people.
At gmail.com. So just Shawn Steel at gmail.com.
ShawnSteellaw, LAW.
Law. Thank you. LAW at Gmail. Yeah, you're a kick. Let's do this again real soon. Okay.
Got it. Thanks again. And remember, freedom in our time. That's my motto.
I love that motto.
Fiat, F-I-O-T, freedom in our time.
I am Charlie Simons here on Do Not Talk, and it's a blessing that you like and you subscribe and you share wherever you're listening or watching this show. It truly is. You help us. You help us get monetized. You help us grow. Right now, this show is a tax write-off for my producer, Kirk Deshawn, Forefront Aerial Productions, because we've never quite hit that point to where we're actually paying for what it takes to put this show on the air. So if you can help us out, please do. And Give, Send, Go. We've got the link down below. Give, Send, Go is a great way to do it. You can become a monthly subscriber. You know, I've been meeting more and more people coming out going, hey, I'm subscribing to you now at Locals, notalk.locals.com. Thank you for that. Or buying merchandise. You get this badass shirt right here. God, Family, Country. Rumble.com/do-not-talk. God, Family, Country on the back. And on the front is this logo here. Do Not Talk right here on the left breast. And our mug, 15-ounce coffee mug right here. Talking about two things you're never supposed to talk about: religion, politics, faith, and politics. On Do Not Talk. We grow by you sharing. We grow by you helping. If you can't get financially involved, pray, please, because this is a ministry. It truly is. We're doing this for the Lord. And my producer, Kirk Deshawn, is the one who really made this all happen. I'm just a lowly little old talk show host. So if you can help us and support us, thank you so much. May God bless you and keep you. May God bless America, but most importantly, may America bless God.